Good evening, everybody, and those watching at home tonight for the March 2020 Manitowoc County Board of Supervisors meeting. As Jessica and Peter has described as County Board Light and or Skinny, so I think it's very appropriate names for tonight to give them credit for those. Basically, we're meeting tonight just to carry out some business that needs to be done. As I mentioned before the meeting, I will be talking with Peter and Jerry Noiser with an IT department about potentially what we can do using teleconferencing, Zoom over the next month. And I guess the biggest question is going to be whether the election is actually held, what is going to go on there. I know Senator Andre Jacques, who represents part of Manitowoc County, has introduced some legislation that might address that, but that remains to be seen. But I guess what I've been telling everybody, just remain calm, and the biggest thing is use common sense. So anyways, first up will be invocation by Supervisor Hoffman, followed by a pledge of allegiance to the flag.
Dear God of power and might, through your authority have us rightly administer laws, judgments, and decisions that we make at this meeting tonight. Also remember the people who protect us here and in foreign lands. In his name, amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much, Supervisor Hoffman. Supervisor Hendrickson, did you punch in yet, or did you get your voting thing? Okay, that would be great. Roll call. We do have a quorum, 20 are present. The 5 that are not here tonight, hey, I have been excused, and they did inform myself and Jessica that they would not be here tonight. All right, consideration and correction of our minutes from our February 11th. Motion by Supervisor Banky, second by Supervisor Gauger to approve those minutes. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried, and the minutes are approved. Additions or deletions to the agenda, I'll turn over, there's none for Jessica. But I will say that we're going to report to the county supervisor, officers, and department directors. I did pass out the proclamations to the supervisors who are retiring. We'll give Supervisors Hoffman, Swade, and Geimer, who are here tonight, once again a round of applause. Thank you very much for your service. And I hated to do it this way, but hopefully this summer at the latest, or whenever this crisis is over, or at least better, maybe we can have you back and do a more formal presentation. And just remember, you guys are always welcome here. So thank you again for your service. All right, appointments by the county executive, the Joint Dispatch Board to appoint 2 members to succeed Christopher Dallas and Daniel Hartwig for a 2-year term expiring of April of 2022. Yes. No, they're gone. Yes, they're gone. We've taken them off. Yes, I talked to Bob and he didn't want to read anything, so we still have the resolution at the end. It's all right. No confusion there. So motion by Supervisor Hendrickson, seconded by Supervisor Mink to approve those appointments. Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Loan Review Board to appoint 2 members to succeed Jim Hammond and Cindy Hoon for a 3-year term expiring in April of 2023. And the recommendation is for Jim Hammond and Cindy Hoon. Motion by Supervisor Mink, second by Supervisor Gauger. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried. Local Emergency Planning Committee to appoint 2 members to succeed Dave Murick, alternate Eric Eiselman, and Paul Tittle for a 2-year term expiring in April of 2022. And recommendations are for Dave Murick, alternate Eric Eiselman, and Paul Tittle. The motion by Supervisor Swade, second by Supervisor Dizak. I'll get you next time, Bob, sorry. Any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried unanimously. Transportation Coordinating Committee, appoint 1 member to succeed Shirley Law for a 3-year term expiring in April of 2023, and it is for Dave Schmaling. So motion by Supervisor Ballman, second by Supervisor Kavanaugh. We'll get you in there yet. Thank you for being nice. Any other discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion say aye. Aye. Opposed, motion carried, and appointments are approved. Thank you very much, everyone. We'll go on to the committee reports that have discussion. We'll start with Planning and Park. Supervisor Dizak is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met on February 24th. We had a public hearing for 2 zoning changes. The first one is for JW Congregation Support to rezone approximately 3.6 acres from rural residential to commercial business. The area to be considered for rezoning meets past criteria for rezoning land from rural residential. Town planning support the change, and the rezone allow the property to be used for electrical contracting business, which is, there's commercial business adjacent to this property, and I move for its approval.
So motion by Supervisor Dizak, second by Supervisor Ballman. Discussion on the motion? See none, all in favor, all those, I'll turn over to Jessica,
Things
the
are
county
mixed.
clerk, for the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for JW Congregation Support, Inc.
Ordinance passes 20 to 0.
Next was ordinance for Fox to rezone approximately 2.36 acres from exclusive ag to rural residential. The area to be considered for rezone meets past criteria for rezoning land from exclusive ag. The Eaton Town Board and Town Planning Commission support the change. There's no prime farmland is affected by the request. The area proposed for rezoning is difficult to farm and has very steep slopes. And this will allow this parcel to be sold and a single-family home built. And I move for its approval.
So motion by Supervisor Dizak, seconded by Supervisor Kavanaugh. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the ordinance amending zoning map for James Laps.
Motion or ordinance passes 20 to 0.
Thank you. Next, we approved a variance for Robert Jock to create 2 lots less than 20 acres. We then forwarded 3 ordinance violations to corporate counsel for septic tank issues. And then we have 2 additional resolutions. The first one is supporting Assembly and Senate bills for riparian rights. These bills will ensure that all waterfront landowners, regardless of their water body, will have the same rights. And basically, this is a bill that's coming through our legislature right now, and this will have Manitowoc County support that bill. And I move for its approval.
So motion by Supervisor Dizak, seconded by Supervisor Falkowski. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution supporting AB 551, SB 501, riparian rights.
The resolution passes 20 to 0.
The 2020-2021 snowmobile program authorizing Park and Planning to enter into agreements with all the snowmobile clubs, and I move for its approval.
So motion by Supervisor Dizak, seconded by Supervisor Hoffman. Discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing 2020-2021 snowmobile trail program.
Resolution passes 20 to 0. Anything else, Supervisor Dizak?
That is it. Our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for April 27th, but based on where things are, we'll see where that goes. That concludes my report. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Supervisor Dizak. Finance Committee, Supervisor Hanson is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee met 2 weeks ago, and then we met last week when the county board meeting was canceled, at a special meeting anyway, to sell another piece of property. So we've been fortunate the last 2 meetings to get rid of 2 pieces of property that are back in the public's hands, and hopefully houses are going to be built on those. Before you tonight, there is a resolution authorizing fund balance designation carryover from last year to this year, basically money that wasn't spent by a department that we are just carrying over to this year. And I would look to move this resolution forward.
So motion by Supervisor Hanson, seconded by Supervisor Swade. Discussion on the resolution? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing fund balance designations, carryover, transfers, and reappropriation of specified funds from 2019 to 2020.
Resolution passes 20-0.
Second resolution from Finance tonight is a resolution denying a claim. You may recall there was a claim by an individual earlier this year on some damage that was caused during the flooding last spring. We denied that claim at that time. This is for the same claim, but this time her insurance company is trying to get the money back that they had to pay for that claim from the county. So we denied this, and I move for denying the claim.
Motion by Supervisor Hanson, second by Supervisor Bruner. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution denying claim Progressive Northern Insurance Company.
Resolution passes 20-0. Or disruption with the microphone here, but I apologize for that. But thank you, Supervisor Hanson. Highway Committee, Supervisor Benke is the chair. He gets the big platform tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We met on March 10th. We talked about safety, we talked about workman's comp, and Mark is doing a really nice job of informing the committee. I have three resolutions. First resolution, number 7, is adopting the statement of project intentions out at the airport. It's a requirement that we need to fulfill for the Department of Transportation Bureau of Aeronautics, giving them a 6-year project intentions. So I so move, Mr. Chair.
So motion by Supervisor Benke, second by Supervisor Gauger. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution adopting statement of project intentions, Manitowoc County Airport.
Resolution passes 20-0.
Authorizing a quarry lease. This is our lease behind our highway shop, quarry lease to Vinton Construction. It's pretty self-explanatory. Other than the lease, that's all Peter's language, that the P's and Q's that need to be crossed. But the cost of aggregate coming out of the pit, this is not abnormal. We do this, we've done this with Northeast Asphalt in the past. So I so move to approve this lease, Mr. Chair.
So motion by Supervisor Benke, second by Supervisor Marish to approve. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution authorizing quarry lease, Vinton Construction Company.
Resolution passes 20-0.
Resolution number 9 is we're extending that lease, and all the numbers are part of the fiscal end of the, so I so move, Mr. Chair.
So motion by Supervisor Benke, seconded by Supervisor Giroux to approve the resolution. Any discussion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Resolution authorizing non-metallic mining lease, Litz Pit.
The resolution passes 20-0.
That concludes my report, Mr. Chair.
On your Public Works Committee, Supervisor Giroux is the chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. March 11th, and I'm bringing forward 2 resolutions. The first one is accepting sponsorship for 2 digital electronic monument signs as a generous sponsorship from the Meyer folks. I so move.
So motion by Supervisor Roll, second by Supervisor Dizak. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution accepting sponsorship for 2 digital electronic monument signs.
Resolution passes 20-0.
The next resolution is accepting a naming rights sponsorship for the Manitowoc County Expo. The Americollect folks. I so move.
So motion by Supervisor Giroux, seconded by Supervisor Gauger. Discussion on the motion? Seeing none, the clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution accepting naming rights sponsorship for Manitowoc County Expo Merchants Building.
Resolution passes 20-0. Back on, thank you very much, Supervisor Giroux. One last item I have right now is a resolution from myself ratifying the county executive's March 16th, 2020 proclamation of public health emergency. I'll accept a motion from the floor. Motion by Supervisor Banky, second by Supervisor Hendrickson. Discussion on the motion. Bob, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you're certainly welcome to say a few words. I know you've been speaking on the radio and things, but if you're certainly welcome to speak if you want to say a few words.
This allows us to get in the chain of command with the state and the federal government for funding, basically, but we're following the state's lead. And remember, the county is we're the state's local office, so we follow the state, and the cities, the city of Two Rivers and Manitowoc have also done this, and they are getting in line for funding from the state and federal government, and that's basically what this is.
Thank you very much, Bob. Any other discussion? I know Travis Walker, Emergency Management Director, who's essentially taking the point, correct, Bob, on this? I know he's giving daily reports on the radio and with the media and stuff, so there is people active. Please.
He's the one voice that we have constantly, and he's our voice, and I'm supervising him, of course, but the voice of the county would be Travis Walker's voice.
Thank you again. Nothing else? The clerk will now conduct the vote.
Supervisors will now vote on the resolution ratifying County Executive's March 16, 2020 proclamation of public health emergency.
The resolution passes 20-0. Thank you very much on everything, and as I mentioned at the beginning of the meeting, election April 7th, as of right now, I guess it's uncharted territory. I am working with Peter and with Jerry with the IT department as well. We'll potentially send up some electronic means of having meetings over the next month if necessary. Hopefully, we'll be able to meet towards the end of April. Obviously, there's unprecedented moves to it. A county board needs to be seated, and without an election, since we don't have staggered terms, it would be interesting. But it'll all be worked out, and we'll definitely keep everybody informed. So keep checking your emails, and I'll be looking at that. So with that, a motion to adjourn. Motion by Supervisor Banky, second by Supervisor Droll. All those in favor say aye. Opposed? We are adjourned. Have a safe trip, everybody, and